Welcome to the newsletter. Welcome to Global Custody Pro. I'm Brennan McDonald, Managing Editor. I write about the global custody industry after 12 plus years in financial services, including working at a global custodian. The audio version of this newsletter is read by an AI voice. Have feedback? Just reply to this email or connect with us on LinkedIn. Subscribe table of contents. Editor's comment. Global Custody News. HKEX posts. Record Q1 profit. Deutsche Börse. Record custody. Settlement volumes. Societe Generale Securities Services reports. ISSA appoints McKinney CEO. Makes role full-time. Synergy launches settlement netting for EMEA repo. BMV expands Nasdaq partnership. HSBC 1Q25. Profit lower CDS finalizes. TCS BANCS upgrade. Digital asset news. Kraken launches US securities. Trading editor's comment. This week, more earnings results came in for Q1 2025, so today's newsletter is a bit longer than normal. You can reply to this email with your feedback or any global custody news tips. Global Custody News read online HKEX posts. Record Q1 profit. Hong Kong exchanges and clearing, HKEX, reported record quarterly revenue and other income of HK6, 9 billion, plus 32% YOY, and record profit attributable to shareholders of HK4, 1 billion, plus 37% YOY for Q1 2025. Performance was driven by record headline average daily turnover, ADT, in the cash market, HK242, 7B, plus 144% YOY, record derivatives average daily volume, ADV, 1-to-1, 9 MEM contracts, plus 24% YOY, and significantly higher Stock Connect turnover. Northbound ADT plus 44% YOY, record southbound ADT plus 255% YOY. The surge in trading volumes, particularly through the Connect programs which generated HK 942 meters revenue plus 61% YOY, signals increased operational flows for custody, clearing and settlement providers servicing Hong Kong and mainland China access. HKEX's strategic initiatives, including accepting China government bonds as collateral for Swap Connect and OTC Clear, and signing an MOU with HKMA's CMU OmniClear to enhance post-trade infrastructure, aim to support this activity and deepen renminbi internationalization. HKEX states its technology for cash market clearing and settlement will be T+1 ready by end 2025. The exchange plans implementation of a streamlined settlement fee structure, effective June 2025, will publish a white paper on the appropriate settlement cycle for Hong Kong and commence multi-year phased post-trade service enhancements in the coming months. The LME also launched its new LME Select V10 trading platform in March 2025. Deutsche Börse record custody, settlement volumes. In fund services and securities services, we have seen new all-time highs, both in custody and settlement, which resulted in double-digit net revenue growth without the treasury results. This was driven by three key factors. Firstly, there was continued growth in debt outstanding. Secondly, there was higher equity market levels. And thirdly, there were inflows into European equities, as I alluded before. CEO Stefan Leithner on Deutsche Börse's earnings call this week. Deutsche Börse Group reported Q1 2025 net revenue, excluding treasury result, increased 10% year-on-year to 1,507 million, slightly exceeding initial expectations, while corresponding EBITDA grew 11% to 912 million. Continued underlying growth was supported by increased market volatility since March. Fund services and securities services benefited from record levels in assets under custody and settlement transactions, attributed to continued growth of debt outstanding, equity market levels, and inflows into European products. Securities services saw assets under custody reach 16,028 billion, plus 9%, and settlement transactions hit 9 million, plus 25%, while fund services AUC reached 4,107 billion, plus 17%. Societe Generale Securities Services reports, Societe Generale Securities Services revenues reached EUR 163 million in Q1 2025, a 1.4% increase compared to Q1 2024, with assets under custody at EUR 5,194 billion and assets under administration at EUR 637 billion. Fee levels were reported as good compared to a high Q1 2024, attributed notably to strong commercial performance in fund distribution within the division. Crédit Agricole Asset Servicing Revenue, AUC Rise Crédit Agricole's Asset Servicing Division, KCEIS's revenues increased by 7% year-on-year to $522 million in Q1 2025, attributed to favorable net interest margin evolution and higher fee income from flows and transactions, offsetting planned ISB customer exits. Assets under custody, AUC, reached $5,467 billion, up 0% YOY, and assets under administration, AUA, hit $3,475 billion, up 7% YOY, at end March 2025. JPX FY 2024 net income rises slightly. Japan Exchange Group, JPX, reported a 0.4% year-on-year increase in net income attributable to owners of the parent company for the fiscal year ending March 31, 2025, reaching JPY 61.09 billion, despite higher operating expenses. Operating revenue grew 1% to JPY 162.23 billion, driven primarily by a 1% rise in average daily trading value for cash equities. JPX will pay a special dividend of JPY 10 per share on top of an ordinary dividend of JPY 35.5 per share for FY 2024. ISSA appoints McKenney CEO, makes role full-time. The International Securities Services Association, ISSA, has appointed Julia McKenney as its Chief Executive Officer, effective 16th June 2025. She replaces the retiring Colin Parry and takes on the position as a newly established full-time role. McKenney possesses Australian legal qualifications, having been admitted as a barrister and solicitor in New South Wales, and has extensive securities services experience from roles at JP Morgan, Northern Trust, State Street, Standard Chartered, TMF Group, Accenture, and Morgan Stanley. Synergy launches settlement netting for EMEA repo. Access Fintech's Synergy Network has launched settlement netting, initially piloting the program in the $15 trillion EMEA repo market, aiming to enhance operational efficiency in fixed income. JP Morgan and Citi were involved in establishing the service, alongside an industry working group that helped design the data model and operational workflow. BMV expands Nasdaq partnership. Grupo BMV signed an agreement with Nasdaq in 2024 to modernize its post-trade infrastructure, transitioning from legacy in-house clearing and settlement platforms to Nasdaq's technology, and is now exploring a service-based delivery model developed by Nasdaq and Amazon Web Services, AWS. Jorge Alegría, CEO of Grupo BMV, stated, "Our post-trade technology infrastructure is undergoing a transformative evolution, with Nasdaq playing a pivotal role as our enabling partner as we look toward the next decade." HSBC 1Q25 profit lower. HSBC Holdings reported a 1Q25 profit before tax of $9.5 billion, a $3.2 billion decrease compared to 1Q24. Primarily attributed to the non-recurrence of significant net gains from the 2024 disposals of its Canadian banking business and Argentinian operations. However, constant currency profit before tax, excluding notable items, rose by $1.0 billion to $9.8 billion, driven by strong results in wealth, within IWPB and Hong Kong segments, and in foreign exchange, debt and equity markets, within the CIB segment. CDS finalises TCS BANCS upgrade. The Canadian Depository for Securities Limited, CDS, TMX Group's subsidiary, implemented significant upgrades to its core clearing technology this week under its post-trade modernisation (PTM) initiative, replacing legacy systems for clearing, settlement, depository, and entitlement payments with the TCS BANCS for market infrastructure platform. The upgrades represent a key investment aimed at ensuring critical systems are efficient, resilient, and adaptive, advancing core technology capability and strengthening Canada's competitive position for global investment, according to John McKenzie, CEO, TMX Group. Sponsored content. Private markets aren't just for the 1% anymore. Institutions invest billions into private markets because they may provide superior market positions and steady cash flow, even in a shaky market. Now you can too. For the first time ever, elite private assets are available to all investors for as little as $500 with Hamilton Lane Private Infrastructure Fund. Learn how you can invest today. Source: Hamilton Lane data, Bloomberg as of January 2024. Past performance is not a guarantee of future returns. All securities come with specific risks not limited to a total loss of your investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Please review the risks specific to this investment on the HLPIF deal page hosted on Republic. HLPIF Digital Asset News. Kraken launches U.S. securities trading. Kraken now provides access to U.S. securities, specifically over 11,000 stocks and ETFs, for its clients residing in the U.S., facilitated through a strategic partnership with API brokerage platform Alpaca. This expands Kraken's platform, which already includes over 300 digital assets and 6 fiat currencies. This development aims to bridge digital and traditional assets, furthering Kraken's stated positioning as an institutional-grade, multi-asset class trading platform by consolidating diverse asset types within a single interface. This collaboration accelerates Kraken's vision of combining traditional and digital asset classes into one platform, according to Nick Lemena, Managing Director of Kraken. Share the newsletter comment Global Custody Pro. Published by Digital Content Operations, LLC. All rights reserved. This newsletter was edited by Brennan McDonald.